Good evening, I'm Father Russ Carmichael, and this is Street Talk. Thank you again, always, for letting us into your homes, and thank you for all the support. You folks, all you Street Talk people out there that are action-oriented, okay, I love you folks. Okay, tonight I got a good show. Okay, my co-host is across the way, Dominic. Okay, I call him Mr. Bill, and I'll tell you why right after we get going a little bit. And I got Michael Passero with me again. Okay, my favorite politician right now in New London. Okay, and I have to say that before I go too far, Darren, God bless you. I know you're home watching TV. You've had a tough week and everything else like that, but I know you're watching the show along with Bobby Burlon, who's in there helping you out, and you guys, you know, very, very good, and all our people who are supporting the stuff that we do. I really appreciate it. But before I get to Michael, I want to say. I really want to thank everybody that's been supporting us. I want to thank all the people now that we're going all around the state, okay, that have been checking in on the Street Talk site and everything else like that. Unbelievable, you know, and I want to say thank you to all our people across the aisle, okay, that have been very good to us. I really do. I really do appreciate all the stuff that's happened. And we'll talk a little bit after we get to Michael. But Michael, great to have you back on the show, okay? And always good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, I have to declare myself tonight, okay, that I am a supporter of your campaign, which most people know, and I'm sorry about my trash mouth. I was scolded that I'm always negative and I'm attacking the opposition, and I do it in a base and gross way. And I'm sorry, but I'm a Boston politician, you know, and that's the way we fight. And so, you know, I fight the evil in politics, and there is a political evil, as one of my professors says from Boston College, and one of those Jesuit guys that, you know, we maybe fight, and sometimes you got to be careful because you become the evil yourself. So I was told that you may want to scold me, okay? But I was very clear to the individual that wrote on my site that you can scold me, but I have a tendency to believe in the First Amendment, say when I want to, what I want, and don't listen very well. I said, but I clearly said that I don't obviously influence what you do. And so with that, though, I missed your fundraiser. Okay, and so I did want to make my donation to your campaign. I wrote out all the legal stuff here tonight on the show so that you know that, yes, I totally support Michael. But while I was doing my donation, okay, Bobby Burlon, who I know you know, said, what you doing, Father? I said, I'm writing my check out to, this is why I brought this up, I'm writing out my check to Michael. I said, I missed this fundraiser and stuff like that, and we support Michael. He said, can I write a check too? You know, I'm happen to be his conservator, right? He says, can I write a check too? I said, Bobby, yeah, what do you, yeah, it's your money, what do you want me to do? I said, what do you want to do? Write Michael a $5 check or something? Because, yeah. He said, no, I want to give Michael $50 from Bobby. I mean, people got to understand, Bobby ain't got much of anything, right? I said, absolutely. I said, and I'll give it to Michael on TV. So I have Bobby's thing here. I have Burlon's thing here, and I better have Burlon. Yeah, yes. I have his check, and I have my own. So with all the proper paperwork, Michael, I want to give you, okay, God bless you.
Thank you, Bobby, out there, if you're watching. Thank you very much.
And he's watching. So.
And I didn't want to be disincluded. And I know your opposition gets most of his money from out of town, so I figured I'd be the one person maybe that gave to you from out of town. Seeing as I'm not from New London, but I've been a part of New London for the last couple of years and appreciate what you're going to bring around to this when we move forward from here. So this is my contribution.
Thank you, Dominic. Appreciate it. My campaign appreciates it.
Yeah, your campaign, and how do you feel things are going? I mean,
The response has been overwhelming. And it's been daily and great feedback. The staff that's working for me is tremendous. Volunteers stepping up to the plate. I mean, I have people that I swear they're putting in more time on my campaign than they are in their full-time jobs. And just amazing. It's great. One of the fellows is on vacation this week, but he hasn't stopped working, judging by the emails and.
Oh yeah, I probably know who you're talking about. We've got, you do. I don't think a lot of people know the diversity of your campaign. I mean, you have an open tent, and somebody said I'm prejudiced. I am prejudiced because we started with you when you first started into politics. I mean, I didn't know you, didn't know about you, but what I have a huge family. Both the Italian and the Scotch side, and we're huge, okay? A lot, not maybe the majority, but a lot of those people are first responders like yourself, okay? And we have 5 fire chiefs in the family. 3 are retired, one from Newton, Sudbury, and other areas, and we got 2 others that are active. We got a bunch of people who do, we have the ones that go in the ambulance there,
EMTs.
my EMTs, my
Paramedics,
nieces,
yeah.
and stuff like that. So we have a huge amount of firemen, and we also have a huge amount of police officers and stuff like that. Most work up in Massachusetts, and that's how when I first looked at you, that is what attracted to me, because I knew you were a fireman. Okay, I'm sorry, I just know you were a first responder, and when you first ran, okay. But I also looked at your history. I do it with everybody, okay? I was one of the first to support Finosio's here. Everybody knows it. I got him one of the first on his campaign to support him. And then, for me, I saw character flaws and I jumped the ship. And then went to Passero, and we lost. But with your situation over the years, you proved to me and all the people that I deal with that you're true to your word. You say, we know when you say something, you mean what you say, and you have an open tent. You're not only a fireman, you worked, you educated yourself, you're an attorney. I lean towards very civil rights. I believe the Supreme Court, you've been before the
A number of
times.
A number of my labor cases have taken to the state Supreme Court.
State Supreme Court.
State Supreme
See, I was a little lucky. I didn't go to twice. I didn't go to the federal Superior Court, but the one just below it.
The Court of Appeals.
Court of Appeals. I was the Federal Court of Appeals twice with stuff in prisons as a jailhouse lawyer. So I had a common thing. Yes, too. So that's why I want to tell people, that's how I watched your political career here in New London, didn't know who you were or anything. We're actually on the opposite sides over Riverside Park.
Right, and you were skeptical of me at the beginning.
And we fought on that, and I actually
Well, that's a good point. The Riverside Park issue is it's just one issue, but quite a lot of, the community was evenly divided on that issue. No, you won it first.
I won it first,
and then a week later you lost.
I lost,
and that was on the recount. That was,
that was close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tend to think that fight could have been avoided, but there was, it was one of those situations where there was nobody was willing to compromise.
Yeah, no common ground.
Yeah, and so it was a shame that the community was divided over that. But what really I find healthy about my campaign is the community was evenly divided on that one issue, and people in my campaign are divided on that issue.
Right.
And we don't need to all agree on every issue.
Exactly.
In order to work together, to move the city together, and to find common ground. And that's one thing I find healthy in my campaign. I mean, I have very strong policy differences with important people in the campaign. It doesn't stop them
from supporting you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that's what I love. Yeah. I love an open tent, an attempt that's real. I mean, you don't look for yes people around you. Okay.
No, I can lose a debate. I mean, because, and quite frankly, sometimes I've lost debates, and you're looking down the road in hindsight, and you'd say, see, I'm glad I lost that debate, because I was wrong on that one.
Yeah, good, good.
See, no, I don't think anybody has a monopoly on being right, so it's tough. You advocate for the position you believe in. If you lose on the issue, you move on.
I think that brings around an important quality. You know, it's, as a leader, you want to have the best and the brightest around you.
Correct.
And you want to have people that, you know, that you can get behind and you can support, but bring all different kinds of opinions into things, and it's an important quality.
Yeah, a healthy debate will lead to a proper decision.
Yeah.
And you have to be prepared to lose that debate sometimes.
Yeah.
And as long as you're surrounded with good people that have the right interests in mind, the interests of the city of New London, you know, they're all putting their talents and their intellect into solving the problems, then we'll get them solved. And that's all that's important, not who wins the debate ultimately.
Yeah, we absolutely, totally agree with you, and of course, we've had a lot of success this year up at the State House and everything else. Dominic worked like crazy with people across the aisle that I normally wouldn't be able to get in and discuss with because of my being the other side on the far as left as you can get in the Democratic Party, I guess. Okay, that we work with over a year-long stuff and everything, and we've been very, very fortunate of finding common ground and doing the things. And I believe, obviously, and people ask me why, you know, you're really hot with my, I said, yeah, because I believe and I've watched. It's not a matter of just knowing. I said I've watched Michael grow as a politician in the city, and it's not about blowing smoke. He does the job, okay, he'll listen to you and everything else like that, but he's going to make his own decision, and that's where it is. And if you can handle that, then you're all right, and that's the guy you should be support. He's not going to intimidate you. He's not going to what I look at persecution and evil in politics. I said that's not the kind of guy he is. He doesn't operate that way. So, you know, so that's why you get my checks. I do put my money where my mouth is.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the uncomfortable parts about campaigning.
You got to do it. It's the reality.
We're judged, we're judged by our position on the issues, certainly, and our records, but we're also judged by the amount of money we raise. And you saw, you know, they were like sharks in a feeding frenzy when the first quarter reports came out comparing my campaign to the opposition's campaign. What are they comparing us on? They're comparing us on who's donated, how much is being donated.
Right. Exactly.
And I'm not sure that should be the measure of a campaign. But the same thing's going to happen on April 10th, I'll guarantee you, when the next reports come out.
Well,
there'll be a story right there on the front page.
Of course. I mean, and from the political perspective, okay, people, even like myself, I've been a long time in it, I follow the money. I want to see where the money's coming from. The money tells me something. It's not necessarily for me. It's not how much you raise, but it's where you raised it from that gets me. Okay, with three of us on the table in here, and you got three checks. One of the checks is from out of town. Okay, but he works here with me and is and consulting with our stuff and got interest in here. When I looked at the other campaign, the interests I saw there were rarely out of town, and I didn't appreciate that, and I was one of the first to write. There was 70% of the money raised, a substantial amount from people that have nothing to do with here and no interest in
I think I think you just hit on the key. The key is not so much whether the address on the check is from out of town.
Right.
The key is whether there's no connection with the city.
With the city, right.
Because the way the law is, you can't make a donation from your company account. It has to be a personal check. It has to be a personal donation. And that's just one of the campaign rules, one of the election laws. So you may have a person who is very heavily invested in New London, owns a business here or owns property here, but happens to live in another community.
Right, exactly.
So his personal checks could be written, but that doesn't mean that he's not. I mean, I know people who, I don't know why they don't live in New London, because they spend most of their waking hours in New London. And they commute back to wherever they're living, but that's a personal decision. As long as they're committed to the city, they don't need an address in the city.
Yeah, good.
I was getting back to something that you were bringing up before, and I know a lot of what our work is up in the Capitol, and the nice grassroots part of it is we're very mission-based on what we're trying to accomplish, and that's kind of a driving force between a lot of what we do. And for me, I look at what you're doing with your campaign, you know, with your focus, the fact that you've been a part of New London. I mean, bringing New London up is part of your mission. And I think that's why you find such support within that, and especially within this city.
Well, the progression for me was, I've had a great life in the city. And really my first break was the fire department. Getting appointed to the fire department gave me, you know, the lifetime of opportunities that I had. And quite frankly, I've just lived a good life in New London. Yeah, I've worked hard. I used the opportunities that were given to me. And now I'm at a point in my life where I'm fortunate enough to be able to give back. So you spend your life enjoying yourself, dreaming about what you could do to make your city better. And I'm at that point in my life where I can try to contribute and make those things happen. One thing is great about people from New London is we have our dreams about how great our city, our city should be.
Where it should go, right?
And I think we're going to make it happen one of these days.
Well, obviously, it's in the right place.
I'm actually planning on it happening in the next 4 years.
Well, it's set at the right place. Well, when I look at leadership, okay, my concern of leadership, depending on where you are, okay, when you have, you're looking for not only the cities and the state financial, serious problems financially all around and everything, and how you fix those things. But when you're looking at an area of the potential, okay, people don't understand the potential. When you're looking, you know, I look at the potential of what's happening, okay, and I have a big view. The city is lucky where it sits on a port that's a deep water port. It's going to enjoy expansion. We know over several years, I know you know, because of a lot of people don't know, because of the expansion of the Panama Canal, and that thing, we end up going to be beneficiary of deep water ports and traffic coming in here. We're going to be the beneficiary of a railway that the money's being brought in here to build up that infrastructure, a railway that is going to get goods up and across the state and stuff like that. A lot of people don't understand all those things that are happening right here in New London that are the monies, everything is it's in the what do we want to say, in the pipeline. It just I want to make sure that at the end of that pipeline, when that's done, I want somebody like yourself that understands finances. I want somebody who's able to negotiate and knows what it is to be union contractors and people. I want somebody from here that understands the labor should be from this area, and the people that should be developed and what's going on should be from here, not from some outsiders that, that scam government contracts. I mean, obviously, that maybe statewide, you got to look from that, but I look at all those kind of things. And again, those are another reasons why I am supporting and want to see you in as mayor, because I know all that stuff's coming. And not a lot, and the Coast Guard, beside that, I'm a Coast Guard family person, We have huge family connections in the Coast Guard, and for those who may not know, but So, I mean, that's where I look at, and I see the chance, I really see New London turning around, going from really a bottom situation with the potential of, God knows, with work and jobs that could happen and the development that can happen right here because of where it sits,
Well, of course, New London's gone through a tough time with the whole rest of the country, if not the world.
Right.
Almost a decade of probably the worst economic situation since the Great Depression. So, and we're coming out of that big time, and things are really starting to break. And the city's going to be getting a lot of good news in the next couple of months. Some significant developments in New London, and right around what you're talking about, the state pier related to the port. Also, Fort Trumbull is starting to really pop. So while you saw I guess it's public today. There's news in the paper. The Development Corporation has been working very hard. I mean, one of their problems is they don't have a great public profile, and they have to work on that, and they know it.
Yeah, right.
But they have been working hard. These things didn't happen overnight. What you read about in the paper didn't happen overnight.
Exactly.
And, there's a lot of opportunities that are starting to present themselves. It comes out of hiring a real estate marketer for the peninsula. I think we need to expand that role. I think we need to expand the role of the Development Corporation so that we have some of these other opportunities in New London, like the Lighthouse Inn, are also being marketed. We do need to have the proper management in place in the city to take advantage and the best advantage of the opportunities that are coming our way, along with this improving economy.
I'm right on that. Okay, and from what's going on in development in other areas of the state, what's happening here.
Well, I think intelligent policy and obviously monetary policy. I know one of the things I was reading about in the day, I guess it was probably early in the week or maybe late last week. It was talking about the fields. I forget the name of them. They're attached to the school, and I remembered us talking about this last time you were on, about how you were managing to get state money to be able to pay for the majority of that.
Right. Well, we are facing two significant issues. The city has an enormous amount of capital needs.
Yeah.
We have two significant issues related to our parks. One is Veterans Field, which was taken from the citizens and taken offline as far as a playing field and open recreation space when they needed it to put portable classrooms for the 3 elementary school construction projects that are now complete. And those portable classrooms have been moved, but that Veterans Field, which is historic also because it goes back to the people older than I remember Morgan Park in those days. So there's a lot of history there too. It was a historic baseball field at a time. When it was taken offline, I believe it was more of a football field, soccer field at the time. It served as New London High's football field for a number of years. Well, that field, since they've moved the portable classrooms now a year or two ago, it's just sitting there in disgraceful shape on Cedar Grove Avenue, and it needs to be put back. So the School Building and Maintenance Committee has taken the lead to get that done, and that's being the Veteran School, the Winthrop School and the Nathan Hale School projects have enough money left in the bond appropriation for those projects to restore that field. And that project, we just had a report at the School Building and Maintenance Committee today. That project's moving forward. Unfortunately, we're probably going to miss the building season this year to get it done. But that whole job should be able to be designed, bid, and the work lined up so that by the spring of 2016, the construction can get underway. Okay. It's sometimes maddening. One thing I've had to get used to is how maddening the lead time is on some of these government projects.
Yeah, right.
But, as I sat there today, I was disappointed that we weren't going to be able to get the field. It does not look like. I mean, I'm not saying we won't, but from the architect's presentation today, the architect's been hired. Actually, the motion is on the council agenda for this coming Monday in order to approve his contract so that he can take the preliminary design work and turn it into engineering plans so that we can get the job bid. And so that's going to move forward. Then there's Riverside Park. The problem with Riverside Park and the Winthrop School project is they stopped. The school was supposed to be designed and connected with the park, so the park became an outdoor laboratory. That's a STEM elementary school.
Right.
Well, that coincided all with the whole debate over whether we were going to sell Riverside Park to the Coast Guard Academy, so those plans sort of got cut off. And so we're going back now, and we're revisiting that. We're at the stage where we're going to submit the grant application to the state school construction office so that that can become a bona fide school construction project, which then makes us eligible for the reimbursement rate, which for that school project is 95%.
Right.
So we're going to have a roughly $2 million improvement to the corner of Riverside Park that connects with the Winthrop School campus.
Yeah.
And it's going to include outdoor classrooms and a nice handicap accessible. Because
yeah.
right now, when you go to the edge of the Winthrop School property, it's just almost a sheer drop-off.
Drop-off, right.
So it has to
exactly.
be all, this is where it becomes a little complicated, but
Right, right.
it's a great improvement to Riverside Park, and hopefully we'll be able to do it as a school construction project, which means the state will help us out with the
Yeah,
cost of
big
that.
time, which will help.
And
yeah, right.
that'll be a great asset to the education and the STEM curriculum up there.
Yeah, it's going to be a great asset to the area, too, to when you look in that area that you can help, and you can draw people. I mean, that's a whole area that people feel neglected. Yeah,
But I see both of those projects as creative ways to take care of two pressing capital needs without having to go back and borrow new money.
no money, right.
Because we just have such a list of needs and a limited borrowing capability at this point.
Well, I think, you're leveraging state dollars. I mean, that's an important thing. I mean, if you look at this as a straight line thing, I mean, for every $1 million, there's 25,000 people in New London. Every $1 million that you save New London, that's $40 to every person. That's, I mean, I don't know what your taxes are like. Mine probably around like the $4,800, like, you're talking about 2%. Well, that 2% built on several other things are major improvements and major savings, and leveraging state dollars in the process. I mean, that's creative.
And that's true, but also there's the reality that the projects would not get done right now,
Yeah.
period, because the council did earmark $975,000 of the, actually the 2009 road and infrastructure and park capital improvement bonding package that we passed. And that's pretty much the end of the money. So as that money dried up, the council took $975,000 and earmarked it for improvements to Riverside Park, but that wouldn't have been enough money to do this job, because by the time the architects finished looking at the whole thing, figuring out how it had to be done, we're talking about $2 million.
Right.
So that's, I doubt that could have been prioritized in face of some of the other pressing capital needs that the city has right now, that we're wrestling with.
Structurally, we got some real problems all over the city.
Well, the Stanton
right?
building
Stanton building, right?
Stanton building has had to be emptied out.
Yeah.
City Hall, we made a commitment to start a historic renovation of City Hall about a year ago, and that project's moving forward. The architect has done the preliminary design work, I guess more of an assessment, a condition assessment, and given us, we have a list of what it will cost to fix, and it's broken down so that we can do the whole thing, or we can break it down into what we want to do. And that's the decision, that's the stage right now, making that decision and then getting that project designed. But if you go to City Hall, I mean, that's one of the things that breaks my heart the most, is the building has just really been let to run down, and that's just inexcusable neglect. So I'd like to see that project go forward, but what we're talking about there is, a space that's unavailable to us for our needs at this point. The Stanton building, on an emergency basis, had to be evacuated, and the situation at the Martin Center isn't getting
Any better?
No,
it's daily getting worse.
Yeah, and that's a significant and serious capital cost that I don't see how we get to that in the at least in the short term, if ever, if we're in a position to be able to. At some point, we have to decide, how many buildings can we support?
Can you support?
on the tax base that we
Right.
have? So.
So a consolidation or sell off some of the buildings and build one facility. I mean, that's how do you?
We have to sit down. We have to sit down
and figure this out,
We have
right?
to decide what's the best way to go for the
Yeah.
the debate. Actually, the situation at the Stanton building is sort of going to push the push the debate forward because we're in a situation where we have to make decisions. And a motion was put on the agenda for this past Monday's meeting, which didn't take place, and it had to be recessed for legal reasons to this upcoming Monday night. But one of the motions on that agenda is to, to earmark money to fix up City Hall enough to be able to put employees in there for the near term. Now, I disagree with that decision, and I've had discussions with the with key people in the administration about whether that's the way to go. We've made a commitment to more or less move out of City Hall,
Right.
renovate it, and do it right.
And do it right, right?
Yeah, take care of this building. So why are we just going to throw
Patch.
good money after bad
Right, and it's, in the
And-
long term, it's gonna cost you more money.
and put off solving the problem?
Right, exactly.
Or fixing the building and doing what's right for the building. So, in other words, just leaving us in this situation where City Hall is not something where any of us could be proud of, the condition it's in now. So, I'm optimistic that we're going to get some proposals on renting swing office space for the for the short term.
For the short term,
You know,
right.
so, and our employees deserve it. I mean, they shouldn't be put to work in environments that are less than optimal. We don't get the best work product out of them. These are employees that are really dedicated and want to do their work, and their lives right now are being pretty disrupted. It's the employees that all of a sudden, on short notice, had to get uprooted
Up
and
and
moved,
rooted and moved and everything.
spread out all over the place.
Right, exactly,
They
yeah.
put a temporary trailer with a chemical toilet in the parking lot of 111 Union Street. That's not, to me, an acceptable solution for where you put your employees, especially when there's a lot of nice office space. Now, I'm not saying that we don't explore that option and it turns out to be not a realistic option, but I want to see that option explored. And I'm hoping that we get it.
Yeah, we should, we got plenty of office space.
Well, if the city, if
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
than spend the money to make a patchwork of temporary repairs to put our employees up in less than adequate office space anyway, even after the repairs, we could use that money better, I think, we're actually supporting our own local economy.
Exactly right.
We're going to make our employees happier, have some nice office space, and then let's fix ours properly, and also let's solve the systemic problem as to why we're not maintaining our building.
Yeah, one of the problems is that the average individual doesn't see through the benefits of doing what you're talking about. They'd rather throw a bunch of people in a temporary thing with the toilet outside in the parking lot, thinking you're gonna. The fact of the matter is, not only do you lose your workforce's capability, because of the depression and stuff like that, it costs you more money than putting them in a decent situation where they belong to get, and you're feeding your own economy. A lot of people aren't able to vision what that means, and you know what I mean. They're thinking you're throwing away money, but you're not. You're giving it to somebody who has a vacant thing, who's part of this community, and you're generating more for your local economy. It's a hard sell because visually, a lot of people don't understand that. It's like saying, "Oh, gee whiz, the nonprofit's here. It's costing us money." Well, the nonprofit, employs 35 people that are from your city. You know what I mean? Don't you understand that they're paying taxes? They're here. They're using the stores. They're using your, your lunchrooms and everything else. I mean, I employ 5 people there. It's not a lot of people, but it's 5, and they're all from here.
It's
small, but it's
small businesses drive the economy, especially
a lot of people don't know it. Yeah.
Small businesses drive the economy, and small businesses, 4 or 5 employees. That's a healthy small business. So it's nothing to sneeze at. We need a lot more of them in New London, and we need to support the ones we have.
Yeah, well, my daughter's in the midst of expanding the business, okay, but it's going to depend on whether you're the mayor or not. Her business plans are tied to who's going to be the mayor.
Well, I think it's about vision.
Yeah.
You have to have vision, and you have to have a an understanding for your employees and getting the most out of them, because they're really, part of the service for the city. I mean, this is one of the benefits that you get when you go into a city hall, that you could go to a department and, their customer service. And if you're not giving them the proper resources in order to be able to help the people of the city of New London, it's like you're throwing away money.
Well, it's not, we're looking at picking the best of bad choices is what it's come down to.
Yeah.
And I don't, it's not an ideal situation. Sure, would I rather have the city buildings have been maintained over these years, and we've got, nice Class A office space that we've taken care of, but that's not our situation.
It didn't happen.
So what I want to do is look at a way that moving forward, we're doing the job better.
Yeah.
And it may mean not trying to maintain as many buildings as we are. Looking at taking a more realistic approach at what we can actually afford to keep up.
Well,
We're overextended.
You're overextended. I mean, I was listening to people say, "Oh, well, the maintenance people can do that." I said, "You got to be crazy."
No, we don't
I
have
said,
the staff
You
to
don't
take
have
care
the
of it.
staff.
That's one of the problems.
I was in that business. When I was a young man. I mean, that was my father's business, was maintenance and janitorial and all that, school system stuff, both privately and for the city. You need a huge staff to do that, to keep up your floors, to keep up your windows, to keep just your daily, everyday thing. We got all these cities that are falling apart, and you got nobody to go out there and do all that stuff. I was listening. I said, what do you think? Well, the guy's fixing a window or fixing this here, what is he going to be doing? Buffing floors here and maintaining there and checking all the things that need to be done in all these buildings, A roof job on the Martin Center is million something? I mean, the
$2
place.
million. I think it was roughly
Close to $2 million,
Roughly
right?
$2
I
million,
mean,
yeah.
maybe it's time to,
We have drainage, stormwater issues all over town.
Yeah.
We had one meeting, one Public Works Committee meeting a couple of weeks ago where you add up all the asks, all the needs just in that one meeting, and it was well over $6 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it's all over town. We have spent, I think, over $2 million rehabbing the GAM building down at Ocean Beach. It does look beautiful. I mean, it was a historic renovation of the exterior of the building. New windows, soup to nuts, nice job.
Nice job.
It needs a roof. You can't make this stuff up. So, I mean, that's an issue. So now, right away, we're behind the 8 ball. We've got to protect the investment that we just
That you already got.
Yeah, because without a roof,
Without a roof, see you later, you're gone.
you're compromising the work,
The work that's
the
done.
investment you just made.
Yeah. So what are we talking about, a roof?
Just in the roofs alone in this city, we have to. On the good side, though, the School Building and Maintenance Committee has finished the roof system on the Benny Dover Jackson Middle School complex, including the administrative wing where the Board of Ed is. So if you know where that complex is on Waller Street,
Right.
William Street,
Right.
it's that was a big job, and that was a school construction job. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what our reimbursement rate was on that, but New London generally gets a generous reimbursement rate. So I'm guessing that the state probably covered 80% of the cost of that job.
Yeah.
And we're going to follow up with a solar panels on the roof. That's a lot of roof area.
That's a lot of roof, that's a long roof over there.
Yeah.
I know it well.
The second phase of that roof project is going to be a school construction job that puts solar panels on the roof, and there's all sorts of credits available, and it'll help to power the building.
That's terrific.
Yeah, it is. It's a good initiative. So.
Yeah.
I'm fully about solar.
Yeah, all about
I'm
solar.
going around my house
Dominic's all
right
about
now. I'm
solar,
just
right,
going
right.
through
Yeah.
the Solarize.
Yeah.
I think they did it over in East Lyme recently, and
Yeah.
they go throughout the state, and I jumped on that because, hey,
No,
it's a savings.
Yeah, it's a savings, it's a wise way to go and stuff, that's really good. Any particular when we look at all these things, I say, Michael, why do you want to be mayor? But I know you want to give back. It's a time, I would think, though, a lot of challenges, okay? It seems like, but, a lot of great challenges. And I happen to believe you can turn the thing around, as you know. I believe that this place can turn around with good leadership and wise leadership.
With the help of a lot of good people.
I was just going to say,
this-
it depends on the team. I don't believe in yes-men teams. I've never had a yes-men team.
But believe me, I'm not putting one together.
My team argues with, they argue with me, they tell me to shut up, okay, whatever, and stuff like that. And I know that if you're going to really do something, that's what you need. And I know some of the people who are part of your team, we're barely talking, but at least we're talking with each other, okay, that do a lot of work for me. And I see quality people. One of the things I note that, and I hope when you put out your plan and, as we get later into you talk about, who you see as the person that should be in the area of expertise that needs to be fixed. That always to me means a lot, okay? I go up to the legislature and they keep trying to steal my guy. They say Dominic does all the research and fabulous work on legislation and everything, just wrote how many bills, okay? But, and I say, that's my guy. They'd like to steal him. I said, no. If you got quality leadership with your team, things come together good,
Yeah.
And you can avoid the mistakes that cost the city money. There's a price on both ends for when you have competent people in place and when you have incompetent people in place, and there's a price to pay for that.
Well, that's exactly right. It gets costly and stuff like that. You need people who know what they're doing. You just do not come into a city and try to run the city if you have no experience. I'm sorry. The real factor with no experience to get into certain jobs, it just doesn't happen. You need to have the training and the ability to know the job. Otherwise, I wouldn't be jumping on the top of the roof like you were the other day. There was that picture, getting yourself burned. You were getting me without the type of training it took for you to be able to do that. But even then, you got scorched a little bit. Huh?
No, that's a scratch.
That's not, that's the scratch. That wasn't from up there in the flame.
He was hoping that was going to be sunburned for being out on the boat.
Right? But obviously, you don't run into the fire. You wouldn't catch me running into the fire like you'd be running into the fire without training and equipment.
The secret to that, the training's important, but the secret to that was a very well-managed operation. I got to tell you, I'm part of that, but, I'm just one of the Indians in that operation, and I'm happy to be one of the Indians. But the people I work with in the Illinois Fire Department are amazing. That fire was so well organized. The officers are just on top of their game. So you're very confident. So the Indians are directed properly, the job gets done, and it works.
See, a lot of people don't realize, team stuff, that's all you've been around for how many years? And you're talking life. Okay.
The key to that, the decisions have to be made.
Right.
Key decisions have to be made in minutes at the very beginning, and that determines the outcome
of what's going to happen.
It's going to take you a while to put that fire out, but those key decisions that are made right at the very beginning, and the key decision that was made in that at that fire right at the very beginning, right when we pulled up, by the incident commander was, I drive the tiller on the ladder truck, so my job is to go up and vent the roof. Well, he assigned one of the engine company that came from Broad Street with me to two of those members of that engine company to work the roof with it. So there was 3 of us to go to work the roof. And this was an experienced officer who recognized that this fire was going to get out of control real quick and was not going to be put out until the roof was vented, until there was a hole in the roof.
Right.
And so I'm not sure how long it took us to get it done, but you're probably talking minutes, not, you know, you got to get the aerial stick up there, the operator of the truck did an excellent job.
Yeah.
And then we've got to get the equipment up on the roof, get on that roof, get it cut open, and then the fire goes out, essentially how it works. Because then the firefighters advancing the hose lines from down below as they, you know, put water on the fire, the gases and the heat from the fire gas have a place to go. Otherwise, you're fighting yourself against yourself.
It's scary stuff, that beast. My God, yeah. But it's the teamwork, you know. I mean, so I mean that's the thing. When you've worked with team efforts in that kind of crisis situation, I mean that's your decision making, your plans, what you're going in, and it takes that skill to run an organization, and be concerned with everybody. See, I look at a city, I don't look at a city like a business. You know, I run a business, okay? A city, it has aspects of that, but you're dealing with people. You know, you're dealing with people, like when you're talking about, okay, where do you put your, you know, where do you put your employees? You know, do you stick them in the basement with the gas and stuff like that so they can't see, or a crappy thing, so they got to go to the bathroom out in the middle of the parking lot, or do you put them in a decent office with air and flowers and stuff like that so they can work confidently? You know, there's been a lot of studies about those things. I mean, my viewers may think, Father, you're crazy. No, I'm not. I mean, I know the studies on environmental stuff, how workers work and stuff like that, because you want good production out of them. And you want happy, you know, I want to see the city employees in London happy, you know, and being what they deserve. I mean, you know, well, we know about all those things, don't we, Dominic? We got 3 minutes. I can't believe that. Michael.
Yeah, this hour went by fast. Not a single phone call.
No, but you know what? That's usually happens when people are listening to watch your stuff. It's really interesting.
Actually, when I put this up on YouTube, your shows actually get the most hits out of anything that we put up.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, you get the most views.
I don't know if I wrote you or
Yeah, I think you've told me that.
I think we're surprised. So you got a lot of people watching you and listening to you and stuff like that. I think that's what shocks people. That lots of people are watching your campaign. I mean, I know from all over the place, and that's yeah, that's really good. You're going to be back with us, I hope.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
I hope in April. I think I'm trying to book you.
Oh, that's right, yeah, I haven't answered you on that. I got to sit down with my
I
calendar.
know you got to look and stuff like that, but we have some plans for other things.
Hey, this is what I'm doing now for the next 6 months.
I
said at my announcement you were there. It's the longest job interview that I've had.
Right, okay. Dominic, we want to say anything about anything? Bills?
We're very happy about a couple of our bills that are moving forward. One over to appropriations on notifying people who are on waivers.
On
when they
waivers
make
and disability
program
stuff.
changes.
Yeah, right. We got.
And so we have
juvenile
that.
sentencing is.
It's on a hold while they're waiting.
While
They
they're
got a
working.
lot of public hearings. I know
Right.
they had Aiden dying up
Right.
at the Capitol this week, and they're pretty jammed up there. And there's
But we want to make sure
of
that
people up there,
when we
yeah.
go on, we want to thank all our people all over the place that are supporting us on all that stuff. Okay, we are now all over the place. Dominic knows how many, but God bless you. Michael,
for having me.
So good to have you
Always a
back
pleasure.
and
Thank
everything
you.
else like that. And all my viewers, please, next week, who we got, Dominic?
we got Jen, my boxing coach.
Oh, yeah, the boxing show. Well, Finozio backed out. He don't want to fight you.
I know, he doesn't wanna fight me.
He don't want to fight you, okay? God bless you all. I pray for you. Please pray for me. You know, Father needs it. He's always in trouble. Okay, we'll see you next week, okay?